I greet you in Jesus' precious name. I want to speak to you today about not becoming stingy. Stingy, what does that mean? Well, stingy is sort of like selfish or greedy. You know, God can't bless you if your hand is closed. You have to have an open hand to receive God's blessing. So if you are stingy and you're hanging on to everything and you don't help other people, you'll get nothing more. I've seen it in my life many times. People are always scraping and saving and doing all these things, and then at the end of the day, they've got nothing. And other people that just keep giving, they just keep getting. I'm a farmer. I understand the principle. You sow little, you reap little. You sow much, you reap much. That's how it works. I always told the farmers, in a drought year like we're having now, it is not the time to become stingy. What they do, they cut back on everything. And they end up with a very marginal, poor crop. We need to trust God that the rain's coming, and we need to plant a full crop. And then we reap a bumper crop. I want to tell you the story about Joseph. You know Joseph with a coat of many colors? His brothers, what did they do? They sold him out. He was taken by some Arab traders, and they took him to Egypt and sold him, but God was with him. And eventually, Joseph became prime minister of Egypt, the most powerful country in the whole world. And he was managing all of Pharaoh's finances. And you know the story, he had a dream. Remember the 7 fat cows and the 7 lean cows and the 7 fat ears of corn and the 7 thin ears of corn. And what happened? The thin ears ate the fat ears, and the thin cows ate the fat cows. And Pharaoh had the dream, and he didn't know what to do about it, and none of his magicians could tell him, except the man of God. He said there's going to be 7 years of prosperity and huge harvest, and then there's going to be 7 years of nothing. What you've got to do in the 7 good years, you must store up all your grain for the 7 bad years, and that's what they did. Now, his brothers who had sold him into slavery were down in the country, and they were starving. So their father, Israel, Jacob, said to them, go to Egypt, take money with you, and go and buy some food from Pharaoh, otherwise we're going to starve. They didn't know that they were going to be dealing with their own brother who they had sold into slavery. We go to Genesis chapter 43, first book in the Old Testament, and I'm going to read from verse 11. And their father Israel said to them, if it must be so, then do this. What happened was, when they'd come to buy food, see, Joseph didn't tell them who he was. He worked with an interpreter. But of course he knew who they were. They were his brothers. But they didn't recognize him. He was dressed differently, like an Egyptian. And he used an interpreter, but he knew what was happening. And so he wanted to find out how his father was and how his little brother was. He only had one brother. It was Joseph and Benjamin were brothers, and the rest were sons of other women. Okay, they were half-brothers. And so what happened was, he sent them back with the food and the money in the top of their bags. They didn't know about it, those sacks, and said, I want my young brother to come. No, he didn't say it was his young brother. I want you to bring your brother and your father. The brothers went back, the food ran out, and the father said, go back again. They said, we can't, because we're going to get into big trouble. He said, go and take gifts with you. Listen to this. Their father said, let it be so. Take some of the best fruit of the land in your vessels and carry down a present for the man. A little balm, a little honey, spices, myrrh, pistachio nuts, and almonds. And take double money in your hand, and take back in your hand the money that was returned. Folks, I want to tell you, we need to start learning how to give. When you give, you get. Israel knew how to give, and that's why he received. Be generous. Goodbye.